All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Bungou Stray Dogs, Season 2, Episode 11.
Right.
Atsushi and Kutagawa
are going to fight.
On the big dick.
Yes, they're going to ride this dick all the way to the ground.
That's right.
Burning it all.
Yep, because even though the dick was supposed to be the main focus, rivalry.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yes. So...
And Yokohama is going to burn.
Yeah.
But
That's
if they get to the control room and defeat Francis, I believe.
I mean, hey, if they work together,
then maybe they could right this whale. You know?
Maybe they'll be like
duke it out on top of a skyscraper instead.
Right. They'll be like, okay, we're totally gonna fight, but like, we do need to take this guy out.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. This guy's coming in here with his money, waving his big whale dick around.
Exactly. It's just like, that's a problem. He's gonna get in the way of our fight. So let's take him out so that we can focus on what's really important.
Yeah. How else am I going to enjoy Raid Shadow Legends multiplayer if we've got just this whale coming in here and ruining our time? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great point, Caleb.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not even sponsored. Just came in here and just being like.
Anywho. We're coming up on the finale of this season. So, how's it going to go?
Yeah, I think that Akutagawa will sort of win a fight. At some point, not necessarily this in the season. In the season. That's what I think. Because he'll team up with Atsushi.
The fact that I'm not entirely sure about that is
kind of
says
amazing.
A lot. But the real question is will Sir Murica's money or power be actually money? Will he just get stronger because of money? If that's what it is,
I can't wait to see.
It would be so good.
But y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone. Now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below. Then come back here for the discussion. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Well,
we got our 2-on-1 fight.
We did.
It's coming up again into stage 2 of that 2-on-1 fight. They have a reason to work together. They have a reason also to really, I would say, still dislike each other because while they understand each other a little bit more now, and Atsushi really didn't know that Dazai was kind of the reason he's doing all this.
Yeah, which means that it probably was Dazai that told him to do the thing with the phone, which
in the beginning
is just perfect for Dazai to be the one to say that.
Because he's such a little shit sometimes.
Right. That does take just a little bit away from the idea that, like, oh, it was so obvious that even Atsushi knew to do that, you know? but excellent moment regardless.
Yeah, either way, the idea that we now understand kind of rapidly all three of these characters' full motivations as to why this fight will go a certain way.
Yes.
That's something that was important to do. Because I think that, well, Francis... I just call him Francis. But, like, he's unique as a villain. I never really felt that I hated him, but he just kind of had all this pomp.
Right.
So he kind of felt like someone that needed to be laid low and humbled.
Absolutely.
And yet we find out that the thing that makes him so pompous is more his how to say this? The way he carries himself.
Yeah.
But his money is something that he'll gladly throw all of it away.
And that's something that I really, as memey as his ability being is, which Caleb totally called it.
Stack of $100 bills and just doing this at you. You know?
One of the things that I'm usually very disappointed by whenever I see like the sort of like the mustache twirling mega wealthy person villain in like stories is that they'll be like obsessed over the idea of money, but like rather than like knowing when to spend it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And
it's just the accumulation of it. They're the living personification of greed with no purpose.
Exactly, right. Yeah. You know, as opposed to, you know, someone who I would think, you know, really obsessed over money would understand the idea that it's a recognized and agreed upon way to quantify, you know, value, basically, right? And with that, then you can do things with it, right? And so the idea that he's like, yes, I'm going to
I would
hit
make
you.
this trade.
Right, I would make this trade. Yeah, exactly. When it comes right down to it, my money is meaningless.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful way to take a character that was such a caricature, right? And he was a very enjoyable caricature. Like I loved seeing him on screen, right? He still is, right?
Yeah.
You know, the ham of it all was fantastic, right? I loved to want him laid low. You know, I love to wish for that. And with something as simple as compared to family, you know, all that matters is family. You know, like
Dom just shows up and just like, oh,
yeah. Right. Box office, like crazy sales, ticket sales, family. Yeah. But like, yeah, absolutely. And as far as a way to basically have a quantifiable power scaling for the villain so that you can be like, what's his power level at? Well, it's this much. And oh, by the way, he put everything into this form, next set of attacks, right? This form, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, hell yeah, awesome,
it's
right?
Amazing.
And he's doing it to apparently bring his daughter back from the dead and save his wife, basically. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
Yeah, exactly. So there's obviously an end coming for him that will not involve him necessarily surviving this.
Right. I mean, he was wanting to drop a 40,000 ton, thing on, or however much it weighed, on a city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
How does that help him achieve his goals? Who knows? Like.
Well, I think it's. Yeah. I think that he'll win the war basically by doing this,
and then But Atsushi's already here, so yeah. Rule of cool.
Exactly,
let's go with it.
Anyway, the point is that this was the episode by which we understood how Atsushi and Akutagawa could become friends. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they could become friends is that both of them are really lacking in self-awareness.
Yes.
And this is the area in which they're different, though. Atsushi's self-awareness is one that he does not count his blessings.
Right.
He is painfully aware of all the trauma that he's been through, and some of it he might have actually already selectively locked away.
Sure.
He doesn't want to remember that.
Yep.
But the amount of good things that have happened to him in the short time that this show has started, it's incredible. It is actually incredible, because while he might not value Dazai in the same way that Akutagawa does, he very much does value the found family aspect of being with all of them.
Which then it just makes even more Francis be the perfect villain, right? Because he also shares that same kind of value. And on top of that, it's also something that Dazai is talking to Kyoka about.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I loved that Dazai was talking to Kyoka essentially of the, wait, since when did you put a number, a value, if you will,
right, on
your sins, if you will.
Right. And if you're
Do you
going
think that there is some number that makes you irredeemable?
Right, because if so, then
what am
hate
I?
to break it to you, but I am too. And
I'm probably way worse than you are in that regard.
And I've managed to do some good. Should I not have done those things?
Yeah.
I
love that they didn't explicitly have him say all that stuff, but we know exactly what he's thinking in those moments.
He just asks the question. He doesn't need to tell her how much how many people he's killed. Just like Francis didn't need to explicitly say the amount of money he spent
after
once he said I'm spending it all. Right.
It's
the same point. Right. It's the sacrifice of everything. Right. There is a thing that is too big to comprehend, and yet what do you do in spite of that? Right.
Yeah. So. At Akutagawa, though, we knew that he was seeking Daddy's approval, right? But we now know that there's actually a little bit of a colder aspect to it. Akutagawa was told, or he believes he's under the impression that Dazai of the past, probably the long past, needed him to make accomplishments in battle, specifically battle,
right?
Which is sad, because in some ways, I get then that why he's basically the attack dog.
Right.
Is he's like, I'm going to do something incredible eventually, and Dazai will have to notice me, right?
Yep.
Right?
But
Dazai it's been years and years. Zai's changed.
Dazai's changed, but even back when he was training Akutagawa, yes, he was training him with regards to combat.
Right.
But I feel like the reason that Akutagawa never got Dazai's approval is because he wasn't actually learning the lessons that Dazai wanted to teach him. It wasn't about how good of a fighter he was. It's about how he thought, right?
Right.
Like, he always thought about attack rather than defense. He didn't think about his own safety. So
Yeah.
Dazai forced him through shooting at him to say, think about your own well-being, right?
Right.
You know, like you can't, and of course, Dazai wasn't in a healthy place back there, so it wasn't communicated in that. He wasn't meaning that kind of a healthy thing of like self-care, but just, you know, you also need to worry about defense, you know, dipshit,
Yeah.
you know, like come on, you know.
And basically, if you're not going to break out of this maybe single-minded approach to things,
That's brittle. Like we can't depend on that.
I can't teach you anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I really think that what might have happened is it might be the father-son kind of thing, but I think it might just be the master and apprentice thing where the apprentice stopped listening to the master.
Right.
Or maybe they listened, but they didn't understand.
Yeah, they were listening to try and get the response of getting the approval rather than actually learning the lessons that the master was trying to teach.
Yeah. So the master basically was like, I'm not going to waste my time on you anymore.
Right. Yeah. And then when
I eventually left, so then...
Exactly. And it had nothing to do with Akutagawa, but, you know, Akutagawa still feels the abandonment, right?
Well, I mean, in some ways, that's the thing. He kind of did abandon Akutagawa twice then. He abandoned him potentially at the point of training, but then also he abandoned him as I don't even care to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Because you're not important to me.
Right. I just leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that Akutagawa, because, so, one of the things that I love to kind of harp on with Akutagawa, and it kind of, I feel like it's a parallel to the fact that he almost never wins fights, is that he doesn't learn, right? He's stubborn.
Yeah.
He keeps beating his head against the same thing, and yet he knows what the out is, but he doesn't take it, right?
Or at the very least, he knows where his insufficiency lies.
Yeah.
But he more...
He's a stubborn dog on a bone, basically.
Right. He has to tear at this bone and find meat on it when it's like, no, dude, there's good meat over there.
Right. It's a whole buffet, you know, like
you don't need to do this bone. But Master said this bone.
Right.
I'm gonna get everything. Like, you did. You already did that. You're good. Move on.
Yeah. Like the whole thing of when he said like you have friends and all that stuff, it's like, Akutagawa, if you wanted friends, you could get them quite easily.
Yeah,
just stop being awful. Like, you know, like
what do you think? Who do you think Higuchi is?
Yep. Well, she might want to be more than a friend. But, you know, with all that aside, right, it's something where Akutagawa, when he's giving his advice to Atsushi or like, you know, kind of ranting at him,
right,
it is a lot of projection, right?
Yeah, it's not entirely projection.
Right, not entirely projection, but if Akutagawa were basically to just listen to his own words, he'd kind of realize what he needs to do, right? Yeah. And yet, because he's in the midst of this whole thing, right, with all the associated pain and things like that, right, he is so completely a slave to his own, like emotions and things, that when something happens like, oh, Dazai wants to talk to you, throw he leaps after it like you know for a second there I thought you might actually be Dent the way you threw yourself after her like this is maybe something to think about, Akutagawa, you know, and now he's gotten a chance to think about it because one, he's, you know, been able to vent some of his feelings, but also he's been able to talk to the kind of the self that he didn't feel like he didn't get to be, you know, like I wish I was you, but I'm not, and so I'm gonna talk to you, but it's also kind of talking to myself,
right?
You know,
right?
Cool,
but okay, all right. Finale is going to be these two fighting Francis.
Yep,
and I love just calling him Francis, just simple Francis. He sounds so unintimidating. He sounds like such a regular guy.
Yep,
and it's like, I mean, in some ways, for society's purpose, he kind of is now, right?
Right. Like, yeah. And that's
he probably, you know, had to find some place in order to unlimitedly dump his money without causing people to freak out, you know?
Right.
So he probably has a bunch of gacha games that he's got like set
God.
up with like credit card purchases and stuff, and he just grabbed like as many 7-star rolls and stuff like that, or 6-star rolls or whatever. And,
The
just
real
dumped like millions and millions and millions of dollars into like a bunch of them. Now he's like, that's how I can spend money quickly, because they don't bat an eye. They take it all.
The terrifying thing is, okay, he goes to 0.
Yeah.
That's cool, but for the really mega wealthy, that's just the start.
Oh, that's true. They have assets.
Or debt.
Oh, shit, you're right. They can leverage the assets for that. You can go negative.
Yeah,
dude.
he could go negative. Oh yeah, what?
Dude, watch.
I'm 6 billion under.
You just
Who
guessed.
cares?
You just guessed his final form.
Right, like he has a finaler form past this. Like,
right.
And this is already something, by the way, where it's like, as far as the, and I said this before, but the setup of the, oh no, this is an impossible situation, the villain with the final form. We know the heroes have to beat him somehow, right? Even if that's like with some surprise help from
Even if
Kyoka
it's not
or something.
actually killing him.
Right, because they don't actually need to defeat him.
They need to stop the whale.
They need to stop the whale.
Yeah.
And what I'm hoping that, like, as like a little like theory, is that they don't actually end up defeating him, but what they do is, Kyoka comes in with the plane and just crashes it into like the whale, and then the whale just falls short into the water or something.
That would be awesome.
That would be super cool, because theoretically it's like, okay, you're wanting to bring your family back, dude. I'm sympathetic to that cause. I just don't want you to destroy a fucking city. You know, let's. You need me to help you find a book? Cool.
Sure.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine if that happened.
God.
Like Kyoka comes in and wrecks it, and it's just like, oh, you want a book? Sure, yeah. Let's go. Where is it?
I can't even sometimes.
It'll be a weekend trip. Like
all is going according to plan. Now that I've captured you, thinks back to the 5th episode of season 2 where they have him knocked out.
The first episode of season 2, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. And they have him like knocked out there, and it's like,
yeah.
Who are they looking for again? Yeah. Well,
right.
You could have. Yeah. Saw this a lot faster, but
right. But hey, if he does end up becoming a recurring character where they do find a diplomatic solution to all this, it'll be really funny because he has no money now. So he'll be like, yes, weekend trip. Can you cover airfare?
Yes. That would be so funny to see him like trying to basically earn money in a very like simple, slow, ethical way, and it's just like
gotcha games. No.
Right. But he becomes like a gambler or something.
Oh God.
And he's like the wholesome gambler where he's like not wanting to get into fights or anything like that, because if he does, he's like, oh, I'm used to. No, I can't do that. No.
Or
somebody's like,
that's when the debt thing is brought up, and then it's just oh yeah, no problem. I just go into debt and then earn the money back, and I know how it all works.
Yeah. That's But okay, y'all. Season 2 finale. Thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.